Greetings. Good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. Just want to say thank you for tuning in live or listening to replay. You are now listening to The Vault. You are listening to your host, Trust Christian, Own Nothing, Control Everything. Just really wanted to do a post today about the Social Security number and trust and really give you an understanding of, for most Americans, I know I have a worldwide audience, people listening from other countries, but this is specifically for the Americans that have social security numbers that live in the jurisdiction of the United States. And I really wanted to do this episode to let you all know that you all are dealing in contracts every single day. Social Security Act, Social Security number is dealing with a commercial contract that's in place for you to do business inside and within the insular possession of the United States or its possessions and territories. And I really wanted to share with you all today how the Social Security Administration Trust, greetings Trey Stone, thanks for tuning in live. The Social Security Administration Trust is just that, as a trust, and you are the trustee. But no one has informed you of that position because then that means it wouldn't be yours to own. It would be a limited liability perspective. The trust that is pretty much the Social Security Administration trust, quote unquote, that people are administering is a statutory entity. It's a domestic entity. It was legislatively created. That is how you know it's not private. So when individuals want to go private and they want to become part of trustee training, you will learn that we don't use social security numbers in the trust that we're involved in. We always operate from a limited liability capacity. Why? Because you weren't born with the number. You were given a number after your birth. So that means that there was a contract that was created after you were born. Not with your maker, but with the creator of the actual contract. Your parents didn't create that contract. The legislation created that contract. It's called Social Security Insurance. It ensures that when you get to a certain age, there will be certain funds left aside for you to actually benefit from. And all the other statutory reasons for why the number is utilized in commerce, whether it's unemployment insurance or medical insurance and all these different insurances. But if you really want to understand it, it is based off of insurance. It is to make sure that this United States country doesn't become a bunch of delinquents and vagabonds and belligerents. It makes sure that individuals have some type of insurance. This country is based off, the United States is based off of insurance. Okay, so they give you what's considered Social Security Administration Trust, which is Social Security Administration Insurance. It is to ensure your ignorance if you are not born into an informed family. An informed family already knows that you're not supposed to own anything in your quote unquote name. So you might as well just go out and create a EIN, which is an employer identification number, to actually do business. Why would it? What else does an informed family know? An informed family, keyword is a family. They are operating from a business perspective the entire time. They're not operating from an employee perspective. They're operating from a business perspective to know that they not only are operating from an own nothing, control everything perspective. They're operating from a position of free enterprise. They're operating from a position of go out and create entrepreneurship. That's what they're doing. So when we talk about uninformed families are focused on having and social security numbers and doing business through even social security numbers. An informed family is going to know that a social security number is for employees. It's a trust number to make sure that individuals that are employees can benefit from and social security insurance. So if something happens to those individuals, they'll have some type of insurance based off of the government. Now, I'm not sitting here and going to sit here and condemn the government for anything that they've done because it's not the government's responsibility to educate individuals in this information. They're the public, they're the insurance agency. When you go get an insurance contract, you're supposed to know how much you're putting in, how to make sure that you get your money back out, and how long you're going to be insured for. All of those details. Contracting is private, and that responsibility is left up to the individual contracting parties. But I'll give you all this. The Social Security Administration contract is a unconscionable contract. There's no way you would have signed it if you would have known some of the things that were going to happen to you based off of you having a number. Keyword taxes. If you knew that you were going to be taxed based off of having everything quote unquote in your name, if you knew that everything you were doing, you were going to be able to be sued out of it, you personally, you might be able to use it, you might be able to control it, but if you knew that someone could sue your name and you actually be sued out of it, you probably wouldn't operate from that position. It's called an unconscionable contract. It's also called an adhesion contract. Adhesion. Adhesion. It's an adhesion contract. That means winner take all. Whoever created the contract, it's in the benefit of them only. How is it in the benefit of you? It's in the benefit of them because they created the terms. Who created it? The legislation. Who did they create it for? Individuals that want a handout from the government. The government is the people. It's you all. It's not anything but that. Now, granted, are there people in office? Yes, there are. But they're there to take care of the general welfare of the public. Key word, it's welfare. Social Security and trust is for welfare recipients. That's why they call them indigents, invalids, people that can't take care of themselves, people that can't create themselves. Because if they did, they would go out and create and use an employer identification number. And some people say, well, can I use the Social Security number to get an EIN number? Once again, anything that's Social Security, it started from a disadvantaged position. You have to understand how to obtain an EIN number privately. This is what private people are doing. I'm sharing this with you all so you can understand it. Yes, there's an alternative to the lifestyle that you may be living right now. The lifestyle that you may be living may say, hey, I got everything in the Social Security Administration Trust, which is my quote unquote legal name, which is my quote unquote Social Security number. How do I get out of that position? You take all of those assets that are unencumbered and you put them inside of a trust. Now, there's many ways you can do that. I will just make that clear. You do not have to do that as the grantor. When most people look into trust law, they look into it from the public perspective. They're looking at it from a living trust perspective or a revocable trust perspective. Guess what? That's not private. That's public. When individuals have a public trust, it's in the living statutory position. Once again, if the Social Security number creates the trust, it's statutory. I'll repeat that again for the individuals that think they really got around the statement that I just made. When I've been educated on this privately, our trustees obtain EIN numbers privately for the trust that they're administering without Social Security numbers. So, if the trust that you are placing assets in, if you start the trust with your Social Security number, it is a domestic statutory trust. Even if you apply for a foreign trust number. I know a lot of individuals listen to this. They say they have a 98 number. They say they have a foreign trust. Guess what? Americans, United States citizens, domestic people, Social Security numbers can create foreign trusts. Yes, they can. But guess what? That still amalgamates the entity to be commingled with a domestic number. We ensure that our trustees put themselves in a position, or anybody that's dealing with us at the vault, to make sure that those numbers are not involved. For protection purposes, for privacy purposes, for non-commingling purposes. The Social Security Administration number is a trust. Let's look at this number. It's called the Cestui Que Trust. CESTIQUE Trust. Let me make sure I got it right. Cestui Que V, Cestui Que Trust. Gonna look it up for you all. Make sure you all have it. Cestui Que Trust. CESTUIQUE Trust. This is what you all are using right now if you are using the Social Security Trust. The Cestui Que Trust is a person entitled to an equitable. That's what you're in. You're in equitable. In a trust, they have two positions, equitable and legal. So, equitable means you hold the possession of the assets. Don't you hold the car? Don't you hold the house? Yes, you're in an equitable, you're actually entitled to it. It says that you're entitled to an equitable position as opposed to a legal estate. Got to get a better definition for you all. One who trusts, a person who to benefit from the trust will receive payments and future disbursements of trust assets. Remember, doesn't the entity have to pay taxes? We're in commerce. The Social Security number pays taxes. It has to report taxes. It also reports income. Income is considered an asset. So, I'm going to get a better definition for you all. Running into some interesting definitions here. He who has a right of beneficial interest. Don't public citizens claim beneficial interest in the Social Security Administration number trust? Yes, they do. Isn't it a estate? Doesn't it have your last name tied to it? It's an estate. And doesn't it deal with legal title? Everybody wants legal title, but they don't understand that in legal title, you're responsible for the entity. The person who possesses equitable right of property, which you're claiming is equitable right of property, and receives rents, issues, and profits thereof, the legal estate of which is vested in a trustee. Well, who do you think is the trustee of the Social Security Administration number and trust? You were supposed to be the trustee, but you're not acting in behalf or the capacity of a trustee. The average individual is acting as a beneficiary. It has been proposed to substitute for its uncouth term the English word beneficiary in the latter. So that means most people are operating from the position of a beneficiary instead of operating as a trustee. Who fills out the taxes? See, this is called commingling in trust. This is why private trustee training is superior. Because in private trustee training, you learn that you don't need to be the beneficiary anymore. You've been a beneficiary long enough. You've accepted handouts long enough. So it's time to be in a position of a trustee, a fiduciary. You're already growing the number, Social Security number. You're already growing it as a trustee. But you're also acting in a position of a beneficiary. And in trust, you can't be the sole beneficiary and the sole trustee. That's called the doctrine of merger. You have to share one of those positions. It's a legal estate. Individuals say, oh, I'm going to get my estate number. For what? This is commerce. Estates deal with dead entities. It's already a fiction. Every number you receive is a fictional number, a fictional name. It's all commerce. It's all dead. The only things that are living are me and you as the trustees. A trust, think about this. I'm going to give you the best analogy. Can a trust drive a car? Can a trust live in a house? No. Then they're dead entities. Trust, Social Security numbers, EINs, they're dead entities. They're fictions of law. You are the trustee. You have to live in the house that the trust owns. You have to drive the vehicle that the trust owns. But the trust is supposed to own it. You're supposed to be the trustee. That's what's supposed to happen. Now it's supposed to be the beneficiary. The beneficiary, anytime the beneficiary receives any benefits, especially income, it's taxed on it. The trust was taxed separately and the beneficiary gets taxed separately. But if they're commingled and amalgamated the way most people are in their particular situation, yes, there's a commingling going on. There's an amalgamation going on. There's a statutory position going on. That's what's going on. I just wanted to explain that to you all today. I hope that brought some light to your life when it comes to understanding trust, when it comes to understanding Social Security number. Everybody say, oh, I want to go private. Oh, I want to be in the private trustee capacity. I want to go private. I want to be in a trust. Guess what? You're already in a trust. You're just not in trustee training. That's why we have trustee training. You can go out and create your own private trust because it's a private contract, but you don't know how to do it correctly. So private trusteeship, make sure you know how to do it. Article 1, Section 10 gives you, as a quote unquote citizen, the opportunity to contract unlimited privately. That's what it gives you the right to do. And it doesn't give you the right, it protects the right. That's what we're dealing with in private trusteeship. Contract. I just want to thank you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. If you have any questions, I'll feel free to answer them. Social Security Administration number is the lowest number in commerce. That's why they call it an individual taxpayer. It's an individual. When you get into different types of trust, there can be multiple trustees. There could be. This is when people say, "Oh, I want to start an investment club," or "Oh, I want to start these pool hedge funds and things like that." That's why you get EINs, to create massive opportunity, to minimize tax liability. Everyone's crying about the tax bills being passed. It's only going to hurt the people that are operating as individuals. It never hurts the people that are operating in groups, that are operating as trustees. It doesn't hurt those people because they are fiduciaries. They claim themselves as fiduciaries, not as beneficiaries. There's a difference. I just want to thank you all for tuning in live. If you all have any questions, I'm going to just go ahead and move on. Feel free to email us, christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, it's christian@trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you all as far as trustee training, as private trustee training, serious inquiries. Look forward to connecting with you all. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Peace and blessings.